The reMarkable Paper Pro. Yes, it has been again my companion for this Sunday. A lovely day in Vienna with summer temperatures and bright sunshine outside. And it was a perfect condition to test this device and compare it with a couple of other e-ink devices, because as a typical nerd, I have many of those devices and I took the chance to compare them against each other in these outdoor conditions. And I did some close-ups to share with you my experiences about pure text, about illustrations, like scientific illustrations, which are colorful but not full photo, and then also about real colorful photo pages in some of my ebooks that I have on these devices. Then I will also go into my note-taking experience, because that has been in some of your comments. I agree, it is marketed as a note-taking device and not an ebook reader. Maybe my main use case is the ebook reading and not the writing, but I use both aspects, and I tried this today. And I can share my experiences about how this feels and how it compares to the reMarkable 2 and other, like the Onyx devices that I own. And regarding Onyx devices, by the way, yes, the Onyx Go 10.3 is one of my favorite Onyx devices. It has a reMarkable, sorry, no pun intended, e-ink screen in black and white, which I have actually set for ebooks to the highest possible quality in the e-ink center. So refresh after each page, full page refresh, slowest performance, but I don't care when I'm reading ebooks. However, this may impact the quality of photo presentation. So yes, I will go into that. Thanks for your comments. And yes, without any further ado, let's start. Now let's start with the Onyx Books Palma. This is the small device, which you can see here. It has the size of a smartphone, but it's actually only an e-reader with Android and Wi-Fi connection. But it features the best books display and is very, very sharp for text. Now, the Bigme Highbreak is recently released, I think in June, a smartphone by Bigme with a Kaleido 3 display, and you see definitely this overlay of the RGB filter and the darkness of the screen. Now, of course, the Tab Ultra C, also an Onyx Books device. Sorry, the font is slightly different, but you still see it's very sharp because it's black and white, 300 dpi. But of course, here on the Onyx Books Go 10.3, with only black and white in 300 ppi, I think that's definitely the best text presentation that you can find of any of those devices. Now, the reMarkable 2 still, from my point of view, has a very decent text display because it's not dithering so much and you have slightly softer edges and less sharpness. But in the reMarkable Paper Pro display, you really see now the pigments and the effect of the color e-ink particles. So from a pure text perspective, that's definitely worse than the 10.3. Now let's compare all devices in outdoor conditions, sunshine, and see how the screen colors compare, the brightness, the tone of white, or how the RGB filter affects this. And here you see the Tab Ultra C, which the RGB filter is definitely darker than the Onyx Go 10.3 here in the middle, which is one of the brightest, whitest, if that word exists in English, followed by the Onyx Books Palma, which is a very decent device for a small pocket. Then here you see also the reMarkable 2, which has also a very, very bright paper ink display. And then here the Paper Pro, which is definitely darker. Now back to the reMarkable Paper Pro, which definitely shines in color. And here you see a couple of examples in bright sunshine, in outdoor conditions. And I have loaded a couple of ebooks, mainly PDFs here, to see, first of all, the performance of the screen update. How long does it take and which artifacts are you going to see? Because it flickers a little bit more than, of course, black and white displays, and even then the Kaleido 3 updates are slightly different than here on these Gallery 3 displays. But on the other hand, in bright sunlight, these color displays really do shine. They are absolutely marvelous in their color representation. You see bright yellows, you see rich red tones. You also can see here the sort of natural blue of skies and so on. And that is something you wouldn't be able to see on Kaleido 3 screens. Now, here's also a book about photography again, which makes sense because you can see high quality pictures, and here you see a landscape photography. I mean, the contrast, the depth of the air, yeah, this slightly whitened background, the blue sky, here also the green tones, the brown tones. Of course, it's not fully natural as you would have it on a high color representation of on an AMOLED display or in a printed book, but it's fantastic for an e-ink display and not comparable to a Kaleido 3 display. So actually, as one of the comments, I fully agree with that. This display shines with color. It's maybe not the first choice for text, but in color, it's unbeatable at the moment. Now you see here that even text embedded in color, if you have color books, which of course contain text as well, it's not bad. You can read it. And here is an example of a physics textbook. And you see that the colors do add value to the presentation, because you can easily see here is a Gaussian distribution, simple statistics, and you can definitely see that the color adds value and helps you to understand the content better. Now let's jump to another book which I personally like, because I'm a boater, a skipper, and I like the sea and the oceans. And this is about the oceans of the world, sort of an introduction into oceanography. And you see here a lot of colorful images, as well as graphics and diagrams. And you see how much value this adds to such a book. This in black and white would not be the same. So I hope that you can see that on the video, but here exactly the yellow tone is fantastic. Here also the blue tones, the graphic of the floor formation, where you see the hot tones of the inner earth shells of lava and magma and so on. Here also volcanic activity, submarine ocean trenches, then here about winds and storms and the circulation. So definitely this is something which helps you a lot to understand these scientific textbooks, even if you are not reading books about photography, maybe, which I've shown as well, but it's definitely something to consider. And here's a pure text, and honestly, for me, normal reading conditions, it's really not bad. I mean, if you are going to try pixel peeping, for example, in this picture, yes, that's completely different. You would never have a similar quality on either a grayscale device or on the Onyx Books Tab Ultra C, because it's a different screen technology. The color representation is unbeatable on this device. But again, the text, if you're purely looking for black text, then the Onyx Books Go 10.3 would be definitely my first choice. Or if you want it pocketable, then the Onyx Books Palma. Now, finally, let's talk about note-taking, because that's something you wanted to see in detail. This is now my checklist for this video, or for the recordings I wanted to finalize today. So let's talk about it. I mean, here it is. There's palm rejection, of course. You can somehow scroll, and this is intended, but it's not that you are going to paint with the finger. Now I want to tick off here the comparison of the screens in bright sunlight. This is something I've done and that you have already seen. Close-up of texts, yes. Close-up of some photos, okay, that's something that I need to do, and maybe because that's something that we have to add at the end of the video, I will do this in red, because I've also taken photos which you can then still images, and I think that's maybe something which makes the whole recording a little bit better. Close-up of illustrations, yeah, okay, that's in one go, because I have also taken a picture of some scientific graphs and yeah, illustrations of in these textbooks, which hopefully helps to see how the quality of the screen is. And I will again zoom this in with the macro lens that you can really see the differences. Show note-taking performance and screen behavior. Okay, I mean, that's something to take into account here. You know, we can add here another page, and I have here some lineage in the paper, and now I don't see, honestly, any significant delay. The only thing that I can really see here, and that's something you have to get used to, the first line is always in black, and this is what stays. So you see, when you draw in black, very, very fast, I mean, this is, again, this is gallery 3, black is instant. Okay? I mean, now I could really delete all of that, yeah. But now let's writing some text. Okay, well, please forgive my handwriting, it's awful. But that works without any delay. I mean, I did not do any measurements. If you watch, I think Voya did this a couple of times in his deep guides, really to do some slow motion and see exactly the delay of the line drawn and the pen movement. That's fine. For me, honestly, the only thing that counts is the actual behavior and the appearance for me. And that is flawless. I mean, you don't see any delay whatsoever. What you can see is in any other color, let's for example choose blue, then the line is drawn in sort of a black or grayish color and then converted into blue. So obviously they have done something in the background to refresh this particular part of the screen. Here in red you see it again, that it's actually, yes, it is actually in red, but it is first the line comes, or the pigments come up in a dark color. I think that's black, and then at a later stage you see the color coming in. So you definitely see here the delay. I hope you can see that. Yeah, I will again do it from top maybe. So you really see that the red is is a few milliseconds behind, and then after you stop drawing the line, the whole line is refreshed, and then you get the full color that you have actually selected. That should also work in yellow. Yeah, I mean, you can't see the yellow very well. Now, what is also interesting is if you choose not a ball pen but a pencil, which is this one as far as I see, yes, okay, and I will do a little bit a wider line, and I choose green, for example. And this is maybe to do with a new pen tip, and also this chargeable pen, which is close to, or which is more like the iPen, the Apple Pencil technology. I called it iPen. Maybe that's the influence of all these Apple naming conventions. Sorry for that. And then you can really, you see, you can go here and do some slight shading it still refreshes, but you have very, very subtle color, and that's amazing. And if you do now and add a second shading on top, then you can actually really overlap those. And what I'm now trying, I don't know if you can see this in the video because it's really very subtle. Let's now go and do some red line overlay, and that's mixing. So you can really mixing up the colors like you would with, let's say, crayons on paper. Yeah, this is how it looks like. And also this when the pencil or pen is very tilted, then you have this subtle shading. Then you can also, change the angle, and it becomes much more precise, as it would be with any other pencil or crayon that you use. And it's also, of course, it is pressure sensitive. So if you use it like this, it's very subtle, and then it gets very, very hard and dense in the sense of pigment. So you can really imagine they tried, I would say their R&D department tried to imitate crayons or pencils on real paper with real pigments, and that's more or less how it feels. What you can also see here is when you overlap or when you draw over an existing line, you have strange artifacts. That is also something you have to get used to. It's a little bit, annoying or strange, but on the other hand, it allows them obviously to create this mixture of colors, which you can see here. And this is really something that I have not seen before on a Kaleido 3 display, because this gallery technology is really about pigments which are showing up as they are on the screen. They are more or less lifted to the surface and you can see them, as opposed to this RGB filter, which I've demonstrated in the other video, where you can really see this overlay pattern. So that is completely different. And if you look into this, you can see this. It again, I think crayon is the best comparison. This is how it looks like. Now, apart from that, the whole appearance is very, very similar to the reMarkable 2. Here is sort of a imitation of a brush. Yeah, you can see that as well. And this is also interesting when you try to mix here the colors a little bit, because I think that's something which is remarkable in a way, how you can use this for more or less painting. Yeah, I'm not an artist, but I think this allows to create pictures and drawings and paintings maybe, which have been not possible so far in any other e-ink device. And now let's really zoom in and you see how this looks like, because it seems to be vectorized. Yeah, you can really zoom in quite a lot, and it still maintains the structure of this pen or brush in this case. And here, when you zoom, when I move here to these overlays that I've been drawing before, you see here as well that this is not something pixelated now, but you receive in 5-fold magnification. You see an amazing quality of this color mixture and drawing. So exporting that into a PDF is a joy, because it's all vectorized. It can be printed without any. It can be increased and magnified without any quality loss, essentially. And that is something I'm really fascinated about. Regarding the writing experience, and that is something I've been asked in the comments. Yeah. Now I go back to the ball pen now, and I will try to move the microphone here, and hopefully that works somehow. So let's see if you can hear something. So I hope that was a first impression for you, how note-taking looks like. I think that is something I can tick as well. Not really. I would like to have this in red because otherwise you cannot see it. Yeah. So let's do it in red. Show screen sharing to computer. This is something which is still open and which will follow afterwards. Feedback to comments. I hope that I have covered most of the comments regarding also the quality of the device for note taking, which we have just done, and the comparison of black text on the reMarkable or any e-ink paper background, because that's two aspects of the story. One is the sharpness of the black text and the contrast with the background. Now, I think the winner is definitely the Onyx Books Go 10.3 regarding the sharpness of the text and the darkness, the black level of the color, and also the brightness of the background. Maybe the reMarkable 2 is as bright or close to bright in the background as the Onyx Books Go. And that's something to have in mind because these two devices are very similar, but the text quality on the reMarkable 2 is a little bit softer because of the reduced resolution. And you can see that in some of the photos that I will post afterwards. Now, I will now also show you the screen sharing, which is much, much improved on this device rather compared to the reMarkable 2. And I will check the photo settings of the Go 10.3 as well. One point I want to mention, and this I can do now already, is sunlight and heat effect. Because what I've seen today is that the device suddenly shows a warning when it gets a little bit warm in sunlight. It does not heat up. So now even displaying ebooks, which are, 50 megabytes and full of pictures, it is not heating up at all. But if you put it in bright sunlight, and the air temperature is already close to 30 degrees Celsius, then it may sense a little bit the temperature. There may be a sensor inside, and then it shows up a warning. And this warning says that because of dealing with the higher temperatures, there might be more screen refreshes than you would probably anticipate. So it's interesting to see. I have never seen this on the reMarkable 2. Maybe that's because of the Gallery 3 display technology they are using, but it's definitely something which was something I encountered today and I've never seen before on any of the e-ink devices that I'm using. Now, next point, I will check the Onyx Books Go 10.3 for better photo settings and how the e-ink center settings would probably change some of the pictures and the black and white rendering. And also we are going to look into some close-up photos at the end of this video to see how the screen, the text quality compares. And I think that's something apart from the videos, which makes sense because it's video is the medium we are talking about. But at the end, do some screenshots and really have a side-by-side comparison of all these screens to see how they stack up one against the other. So here is now the Onyx Books 10.3 Go. And as you can see, I think I've managed somehow to improve the quality of this black and white rendering. And I can show you the settings because here the shades of the black and white of the clouds are now much, much better than they used to be. So it's smoother, overall good contrast. So as a black and white image, honestly, it's very, very high quality. And I can show you what this means. Here is the e-ink center. It is set to regal mode, of course, and all the dark color improvements are switched off because that increases the contrast, and then increased contrast could yield, in the case of JPEG or other picture compressions, to this strange effects of uniform color areas which are adjacent to each other. And then I've also turned on the image optimization or image smoothening, which I don't know exactly what it does, but it's a setting here in the color menu, and that actually does increase the picture quality significantly. Of course, because it's set to the slowest settings, I mean, this is has to be considered. But now I'm trying now to change this. Again, here are notifications, which I don't like. But here you can see, and I'm again zooming this back. So if you want a pure black and white reading experience, then probably that's the best you can have. And then also I have set this to this swipe left. I've set to a custom refresh of the screen. And therefore I get very, very good picture quality. So now it's black and white, but you can see here the clouds and everything, the level of, I mean, the refreshing is a little bit painful, but here you see the details of the tower, the walls, the bricks, everything. Honestly, it looks really very, very good. And yes, the black and white display, honestly, from my perspective, it's purely subjective, of course, but if I would go for a black and white only device, this is my first choice, because it combines all the features that you have because of an Android device. You can read a lot of text, and it is really the perfect device for text reading. So I installed my Medium application, my Substack application, of course a web browser, and honestly, the reading experience of text is absolutely the best. And if you have some images which is black and white like this, it's also fine. It's also a very, very bright background. So the background here, this, I mean, I can actually show you what white means. This is white. This is my Apple touchpad. Of course, it's not white. Yeah, I mean, for sure, it's not white. This is white, and this is still a grayish tone. But it's very bright, and it's one of the best tones that you can have on an e-ink device. And you've seen it today also in bright sunlight. Really, the text is fantastic to read. But if you want color, then my first choice is the reMarkable Paper Pro. Finally, here's a comparison of 5 of those devices. On the left side, you see the Onyx Books Palma, which has a very, very good and crisp text quality on a bright background. Then the Big Me Highbreak, this is this relatively recently released smartphone with e-inked screen technology, but using a Kaleido 3 technology screen, and therefore you have the slightly darker tint to it and the pattern overlay of the RGB filter. Then in the middle, the Onyx Books Go 10.3, which I think is the brightest with the best and most crispy text quality, best to read text on black and white background. And then the Tab Ultra C, which again is an Onyx device with Android on it, and it has also Kaleido 3 color ink this technology. But you see also that the background is a little bit darker, and you can see slightly at least the RGB filter overlay. Now on the right side, there is the reMarkable Paper Pro. It is not the best choice for text, for black text on white background, so pure text reading, but it has still a very, very good reading quality. Especially from my perspective, we are not pixel peeping. That's something we do in reviews and in videos like this. But overall, we are using a device to read. And from a certain distance, from my perspective, the Palma, the Go 10.3, And the reMarkable devices, I did not include now the reMarkable 2 here, are the best ones also to read black and white. The Kaleido 3 displays all have this overlay filter, and therefore, from my perspective, because of the limited contrast and the darker background, they are not the first choice when you consider purely black and white reading experience. Yeah, so that's it for today. I hope you found this comparison interesting, and it can help you to make up your mind, and maybe you have some background information now to decide if this quite expensive device is for you, or if you want to go with any other device that's maybe a little bit cheaper, like the Onyx Go, or serves a more wide purpose or more complete tablet and even productivity device like the Tab Ultra C Pro from Onyx, which is a complete productivity tool with keyboard and everything, and it could replace partially at least your notebook for daily work. That's it from my side. Many thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and see you next time. Bye.